when destiny takes hold. What will you do? Where will you go? The road you travel isn't paved with gold. The story's told, and the heart of the night takes another. You know it's fair. You hear that call, but how will you ensure that they won't fall?
Hey guys, this is Spark Plus Ultra here, and this is part 5 on what if Deku had Starforce Mega Man powers, Electro Wave War. And I hope you like this video and hope you subscribe! When the competition of Heroes vs. Villain team, Bakugo was getting annoyed. Ugh, what's the point of waiting if I'm gonna beat these guys? And Ida says, Bakugo, you need to focus on the point. We need to be careful. And Bakugo then says, shut up, Four Eyes! I'm going to find them by myself! But when he opens the door, he then finds a unlikely person to come and says, what the? Looking at his wrist. And then the mighty Torios says, thanks for the hand, pal. I'd be needing to destroy our traitor, Omega. And then Bakugo transforms himself into Torios. Gauntlets get stronger with an upgrade from Torios. And a fiery temper has gone through himself. And then Bakugo says this, Torios Infernus! And then says, alright, let's take out Omega! And then Ida says, wait, Bakugo! You need to get back here! And then Torios says, as Bakugo, get away from me, you shrimp nut! And Ida says, shrimp nut? Where did that come from? And then both Jiro and Sugu transform into their hero look. And says, Harp Note! Jiro transformed into Harp Note. And then Sugu said, Mega, now! And Sugu turning into Mega Man Starforce. And all the students were surprised that they have Mega Man in their class. And then All Might says, this is more interesting than you're imagining it. And then all the students were confused on what he's saying. And Ochako says, All Might, what do you mean? And All Might thinks, that power, that doesn't seem right from my perspective. And Ochako then looks, and wondering what he means. And both Jiro and Sugu went through the door and says, EM waves can go through any type of object, so it's gonna be easy to figure out. And then Omega says, be careful, Sugu. It's not gonna be easy. Fine. Torios is one of the strongest. And Heart Note says, yes, you be careful too, Jiro. And both say, yeah, got it. And both Sugu and Jiro go and find the bomb while also trying to get the Torios away from Bakugo. But when they were finding him, both Sugu and Jiro says, man, where is he? I checked the second level and there's nothing. And Suki says, let's check the third floor. But when they say that, Bakugo says, got ya! Get over here, Omega! And Suki then dodges, whoa! And Jiro dodged as well. Whoa! And then Torios says, looks like Heart Note has gone to the enemy side. You traitor! I knew you were going to betray us eventually. And Heart Note says, oh, it is only my will on keeping Madame Jiro safe. And then Torios says, I'll deal with you later. I'll take on you, Mega Man. And Suki says, Omega, anything you need to tell me about him? And then Omega says, he's a fire attribute. He'll incinerate you, get in his way, and he's a powerhouse, so keep your distance. And Suki says, well ahead, on that. And then both Torios and Omega look at each other. And Torios says this, "Give us the key, and you will not be destroyed, traitor." And Omega says this, "Like I would. We need to find Suke's father, and he was my best friend." And Suke says, "Yeah, me and Omega have the same agreement." And Suke looks at Torios, and then Torios looks at Heartnote. Then he looks back at Suke. "Then you'll face the heat!" And Torios was over with the flames of his heat. And Heartnote and Suke get back. "Man, he's like a raging bull," Suke says. And Jiro says this, "I'd rather keep distance." And Heartnote agrees on that one. And Torios looks, "My body is hotter than 3 times of plasma." And Suke then thinks, "He's 3 times hotter than plasma? This is gonna be a rough start." And Omega says, "You need to cool him down." And Suke then thinks, "No, try distracting him for me." And Jiro says, "Right." And then using her Vocal Eye attack, keeping him at bay. And Torios feels the attack. "Well, not bad, but you're making me angry!" Throwing the punch through, and Heartnote dodges, and Jiro says, "I'll keep him busy for a bit. Keep on going. Figure out a way to get through that flames." And Suke then thinks, "Yeah, got it. I don't have any cards for this." And then Omega says, "I have one." And Suke says, "Huh?" And then Omega shows him a battle discard. Wait a minute, is that? And Omega then says, "Yeah, we fought him once. Now we can use his ability." And Suke says, "Alright, let's do this! Now, let's do this! Ice Pegasus! Form!" And a breeze of ice cold blizzard comes in, changing into a stronger form. Wings sprout out from Zuko as his Starforce Mega Man form has changed into Ice Pegasus. And Suku feels saying, I don't see much effect on me. And Omega says, well, it is your power, but this power allows you to create cold degrees at higher degree of cold. And Suki says, dang, wonder how cold I can make it. Omega speculates on this. Somewhere to absolute zero. And Suki then looks at him. Absolute zero? Isn't that 0 Kelvin? That's a made up thing. And you know it doesn't work like that. And Omega says, do I need to get a lecture out of it? I know my science. And Suki says, right, sorry. And Omega says, it's fine. Alright, let's see how. I think it's enough to keep pace with old Hornhead there. And Suki says, I hope so. And Heartnote keeps her distance from Torios. And Torios says, get back here, you earphone jack! And Jiro then says, no way, increasing Vocaloid, and let's make some noise! And using her guitar, she increased the noise rate, and Torios feeling the sound attack, and feeling his whole body rupture. And Jiro says this, alright, now we gotta make sure Torios is out. And then Heartnote says, wait a minute, Miss Jiro! And then Torios says, got you! And when Jiro was close, she let her guard down for a second, and Torios grabs it. This little boy's strength is pretty good. I like this guy. Then grabs Heart Note's guitar, and Jiro then looks with shock. Hey, give it back! And then Toriel says, no, combust, and destroying it with explosive attack from his hands. And Jiro was shocked. No! And Heartmelt was still in her gear, but she knows that Jiro's guitar broken, destroyed. It's Jiro! And Jiro was down, and Toriel says, now, to finish this, Ravage! And then, when he does that, Suki says, now, Arctic Frost! And Toriel feels the coldness. And he noticed that his flames aren't heating up. Damn it, how did you know to use that stupid swan's abilities? And Suki appears and says, this is Starforce Mega Man in Ice Pegasus! And then Toriel says, cold, well I'll burn you! Now, clicking out his gauntlet and exploding with fiery destruction with it. And then Suki says, alright, Arctic mode, Valhalla! And then Ice Blizzard comes out of nowhere from Zuku's hand, and cooling down the fire from the Torios mixed with his explosion. And Torios says, no! Feeling the effect of the blizzard from Valhalla. And Suki says, now, synchronization, disconnect! Getting rid of Torios from Bakugo's body. No, I'll have him. I'll destroy you! And then Bakugo wakes up and says, you don't get in my way, you stupid bull! And throwing a punch and shooting an explosion. And Torios says, no, you brat! And hitting him. And Torios goes out of the way. And then Torios feels the coldness from Zuki's attack and says, data, now! And Torios' data has been used. No! And Torios has disappeared and gone. He ran off. And Suki says, whew, that was the first time I done this before. Now that's a absolute 0. And then Omega comments, and I thought my puns were bad. And Zuki says, alright, it was my first crack out of it. But when he was about to make another cringeworthy joke, Gamma then says, hey, I think you need to help out your partner. And then Suki says, alright, Jiro! He runs to Jiro, transforming into his normal state, and says, are you okay? And Jiro looks at her guitar and was very sad. And Suki then thinks, is it very special to you? And Jiro then looks at him. And Heart Note says, yes, Miss Jiro's guitar was bought by her family. So, and then Suki says, okay, repair! And using a discard and repairing the guitar from his card. And then the guitar was fully fixed. And Jiro was happy to see it fixed and hugs Suki for it. And Suki says, I'll deal with Ida. And then transforming into his electro wave state and touching the bomb. And All Might says, the hero team wins! And then we get the adjustment on who got the MVP. It is Jiro and Zuki on how they dealt with Bakugo in that Torio state. And Zuki was glad that nobody got hurt, but also glad that Torios was out of Bakugo's body. And then Omega says, the war hasn't gone. There's still another beings of EM Wave. And then Suki says, who else are there? Well, Omega then thinks, let's just be careful. And then the day ends, and everyone gone back. But Zuko visits Hatsume and says, hey Hatsume, and Hatsume says, oh wow, Zuko, you're back. And Zuki says, yeah, Omega, you can come out. And Omega says, good to see you, Hatsume. And Hatsume says, Omega, it's great to see you. And hugging both of them. And Suki says, so, anything special coming? And Hatsume says, oh, I got something very handy with you guys. I made a data card for you. And Zuki says, oh? And Mega says, what is it? And Hatsume says, it's very special. I literally made it myself. It's a one-time use, but it's one of a kind for you. And then Hatsume gets it and says, you better keep it hidden. It's very dangerous, Hatsume points out. And Suki says, well, I think it would be absolutely much kept in a very circumstance. And Omega says, oh boy, well, let's go. And takes Hatsume's discard and says goodbye to her. And Zuki has gone home, and another EM Wave being has come down. And the EM Wave being then was struck with 3 strikes of electricity coming through its sides, getting pissed on what happened. This human is making a mockery on us. This is getting such annoying. Relax, brother. We'll make sure that human gives up the key. We, Gemini, Sparks, will take it by all means. Showing sparks of electricity with enjoyment. Now, we'll find a warrior that could steadily use our own EM Wave powers. Just as I thought, bro. Now, let's go! And Gemini Sparks goes and finds the being that could use the powers of theirs. And that's where I'm ending this video. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you subscribe. See you next time. Plus Ultra!
Fairy tales and trance. Know what to believe. Nothing's up to chance.